Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to our Christmas countdown for 2022. Now here's what that means. Every year I make either an advent calendar or some sort of little countdown, and I have done so many. We're going to link the playlist for you below. I think I've done one every year for 5 years or maybe more. So we'll link that playlist for you. But this time, someone in my comments of my live show suggested I do a train, and I instantly thought about this stamp set and how perfect this would be. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to feature Kringle & Co. and we're also going to use our Countdown to Christmas set. It's actually just called Countdown because it's for lots of different occasions. Love this. All right, let's get started. Now, I had to do a little prep work. So here you're going to see in the video cutaway that I went to the Cricut machine and I cut this out using the free SVG that comes with our stamp set. I cut 2 engines, 2 cabooses, and 20 train cars. Okay, that's what you're going to need. 2 engines, 2 cabooses, and 20 train cars. And then I stamped only half of them. And let me tell you why. So as you can see here, I have an engine that I colored, and then I have an engine that is not stamped, okay? And then I have a caboose that I colored, and then a caboose that is not stamped. The reason for that is we're gonna make these boxes. We're gonna put a little box between them and sandwich them. So you only need to do one side in color, and that's what I've done. And if you'd like to see how I colored these and what my thought process was, we did that on Thursday afternoon. We'll link that video for you below. So now we can start assembling these guys. Let's start by stamping out the numbers that we need to make this a countdown. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to be using our countdown set too. I want to use this circle and these numbers to do for my actual numbers on my train car. So I'm going to take off the circle. I'll do the numbers in a minute. Let's go ahead and get the circle stamped first. Now, I reached in the bin and found these strips that I had just laying around, not laying around, but actually in my bin. So rather than cut paper or use a different paper, I'm going to use scraps first. Anytime you put a stamp on your block like this that might have an air bubble behind it, make sure you push that down. A lot of times will leave that center in rather than taking it out because it'll help you get a rounder image. It won't distort as easy, but you do have to push that down so it gets out of your way. All right, so I need to stamp 12 of these because like I said, I'm doing a 12-day countdown. Now you could totally make this 24, just double up what you're doing. But I think 12 is enough for this train. I think it'll be cute like this. So I'm gonna run down here. Now I'm gonna be punching this with a punch. These are made so we can punch them out and not have to like fussy cut around them, or this stamp is designed that way. But I have to make sure when I'm stamping them that I leave myself room to punch, top, bottom, and side. So I'll show you what I mean. I want to make sure that I'm leaving room here for the punch to go and between here. I don't want to get too close. So it'll look like I'm kind of wasting space, but really it's so the punch will work. Let's make 12 of them. So now that I have all of these guys, the little circles stamped, I'm going to go into the stamp set and using the numbers, I'm going to stamp 1 through 12 in these guys. So since I need 12 also, I'm going to take the 1 and just so I can know that it's way over here before I'll get to it, I'm going to stamp it here. And then when I get to the 13 or to the 2, I'll use it in both places too. I have 12, 13 in my head. I also need 11, so we'll go ahead and do 11. And I also need 10, so we'll go ahead and get 10 started. Just to save a little time. So now we'll pick up 2. And we're going to do 2 and finish off 12. There's a method to my madness, but I was counting up. All right, so let me finish all the numbers we need. So there's a little bit of error here. I punched these without filming it. I did not mean to do that. My camera had cut off, but these work best with an 1.5-inch punch, which I could not find. So I got out an old, this is an old close to my heart, 1.25-inch punch that I've had in my stash forever. And I used it and it just gives me the little numbers with like the little kind of dotted edge. And I think that's perfect. It's going to work just great. So there's our numbers for our countdown ready. So now we need the little box that's going to hold the treat between the train cars. You need one for every car. Now the engine and the caboose need a slightly larger size than the one I'm going to do here, but we're going to have all the dimensions for what you need in the description below as well as on our blog post, okay? So this piece is 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. What I want to do is score 1 inch all the way around, okay? So if it's 3 3/4, I'm going to come to 2 3/4, then I'm going to turn it, This is 3 1/4, so I'm going to score it at 2 1/4. Turn it, 3 3/4, and when I turn it again, 2 1/4. So you're just trying to get a 1-inch score all the way around the piece that you cut. Okay, now let's make a box. Now here's a tip. I said in our Thursday afternoon video I'd give you some tips because I've made so many of these. These work better if you fold them and crease them before you slice them into boxes, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and fold and crease this guy down. This will save you a step when it's time to assemble because so many times I forget to do this fold right here. And when I go to put the box together, I've already got glue on my flaps before I've got this folded. And it's always kind of a problem for me. So I thought, go ahead, do the scoring, go ahead, do the folding, and then do your cutting. Also, especially if you're using white paper like this, it's kind of hard to see. It helps you see where to cut. So where do you cut? Here's what you do. Your boxes are rectangle. It's important you know that. They're not this way. They're rectangle either way, right? But we want them to go rectangle wide like this, okay? So that means I want you to take it where the rectangle is widest right here. You'll know when you're doing this, okay? And then the sides are going to be your flaps. So right here where this score line is, I want you to slice up to where it meets that first fold that we did right there. Then I want you to take an angle cut from this flap, and that is what we're going to use to glue our box together. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. I want you to cut up to the first score and then an angle cut. Now, do not spend too much time making these super precise because all of this gets hidden. Just get your boxes made. It'll be perfect. Literally all of this gets glued to something else, hidden by treats. These won't even be a feature, okay? They just have to be there to hold our treats. So that's what we want that to look like before we put it together. Then I'm just going to use some art glitter glue. And this is where it comes in handy if you go ahead and do those creases. I cannot tell you how many times I have forgotten to do that when I went to put this guy together. So a little glue on the flap here. And like I said, you're going to need one of these for every box. For every train car. We're just going to pull this over. And because we cut that little angle cut, it gives us a little bit of wiggle room to place these where they need to go. So like I said, I'm making a 12-car train. I wanted to make sure I had 10 of these, but I have 2 separate ones. One that's for the engine and one that's for the caboose because they're a little bit larger. I'll show you those in a second. So as you can see, I've got 10 of the size we just did, and then I've got 1 for the engine and 1 for the caboose because they're a little bit different in size. Okay, so now we can assemble our train cars. So here's how this goes. Breaking in here to ask you to hit that red subscribe button. It's free. Also hit the bell button beside it. You can help me reach my big goal this year of 400,000 subscribers. Okay, back to crafting. So now it's time to turn our little pieces into the box that we want to hold treats for our countdown for the season. So as you can see, this little box is going to mount right here, and this guy is going to mount on top. So let me show you how we're going to do that. I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put it on one side. Now, you remember earlier when I told you your boxes would be rectangle and they would go the wide rectangle? Here's what I mean. They go like this instead of like this. So now it makes sense. That side is going to glue to the train. So using the long side of the box, I'm going to add some glue. And I'm just going to glue this into place. I'm going to use these bottom row of wheels for me to kind of help me line them up. I don't want it to stick out past or lower than the wheel. You see how I have it there? I don't want it to come past that, but I want it to come pretty close. Doing that does a couple things. One, it keeps the center of gravity kind of low, which is what you want because anything you put in here, you don't want it to be top heavy. So if you keep these boxes kind of low, it keeps the weight of the treat low. Now the trick is lining these guys up, and here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to put glue here. Then when I bring my other train piece over, my colored piece, I'm going to stand this guy up and line them up, okay? So I'm going to place him where he needs to go roughly, and then I'm going to make sure that this guy stands and is even all the way around. He might need to come to the front a little bit, but you see how I can be sure he's standing nice and straight? You want to do that too. See how good that looks? I love this little train car guy. So that is number 1 on our countdown. We need to just keep building. So let's do the one that is the most. Let me show you these. Next, I had to make 20 of these. So I needed 10 that were colored and 10 that were not for the same reason. And you also saw us make all the little boxes. They go together the same way. So I'm going to glue this side. I'm going to put it down to this little guy. I'm always going to put it down to the inside first because I'm going to let that establish where my box goes. And when I created these little boxes the first time, I've done another train like this, just not for countdown. When I created them the first time, I tried to make the boxes as big as I could so they could hold good sized treats. So you can see it just fits in there. And now we can put glue on this side and line our little train car up exactly like we did our engine. So I'm going to place it roughly. Then I'm going to stand it up and make sure it stands nice and even. And I did have to do a little editing there to get that one nice and even and then squeeze that into place. Look how cute. All right, that's number 2. Let's make 9 more of these. All right, I got 9 of those made. Now let's finish our caboose. I want to show you too. See how the caboose is a different size box? It's not quite as wide as the other boxes, so you do need to pay attention. One thing you might want to do is go ahead and do your engine and your caboose first because you know that they have a different box that they hold, and then your other ones will be just fine if you have them laying there and you pick one up. You won't have to worry if it's the right one. All right, last one. So here's what we've created so far. I think this would be so cute on like a mantle or a kid's bookshelf. Won't this be cute? Let me show you what my thought is for my numbers. So let me start with number 1. These numbers are a little bit big. I don't want them to take up the whole train. You know what I'm saying? See how that kind of takes up the whole space? What I thought might be cute is if they kind of stuck up like this for some height. I think that would be cute. So either there or even here so you can see the number 1. I think that'll be cute. So let me see. I think I'll put it on this guy. I think that looks kind of cute there. So put a little glue and I'm going to stick the number 1 so we'll know that's the first day. And I can even put a little glue down here to hold it really good. Now you might be thinking all this paper is hard to store for next year to use it over and over. All you need to do is get yourself like a tub, like a Rubbermaid tub, and just make sure this goes into a tub or a hard shell container and it won't be an issue. All right, so I'm going to run through with all of my numbers and glue them to the back side. Let's do 2 as well. Here it is, have to find it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to glue it back here to the back so it kind of pops up. I think that'll be cute. You could do it to the front. Let me show you. It's actually not too bad on the front of these. I just think it was better on the back of that one. I might just put it on the front of these. I think I will. That's cute. So let's put a little glue here. It doesn't cover up too much here of the detail of the little car. So we'll put this on here like this. And I might just move them, different places on the little boxes. So have one to the front, maybe one to the middle, one, back and forth like that. We'll see how it goes. So I made a little change in my decision. Look at this. When you go to put this little number on, if you put your glue right here, your little number fits so perfect in that little middle scallop. See how it can just fit right there and look like it's part of the little car? Isn't that cute? So that's where I'm putting mine on. Every one is right there, and we'll figure out the caboose when we get there. I decided to put 12 to the back and the top since I started with the first one to the back like that. I think that'll be cute. Plus, it's a pretty tall train car, so we can put some goodies in there and it'll be like the end, and it's almost kind of like the smoke coming out the back. So we'll put that there like that. Speaking of the smoke coming out, let me show you this. So I have all these pieces in my little tray here from the stamp set, this being one of them. This is all in the stamp set, and I cut it all with the free SVG and then stamped it. Won't this be cute right here on the top of this little train? That's where it's going to go. I'm going to put glue here, and then I'm going to put some dots up here so I can attach it as it goes back. So this guy will go like this, like it's coming out of the smokestack, and it's going to touch that glue as well to kind of catch it. Look how cute. Little Merry Christmas train. And you can still see the number 1. You can still see it there, and then your treats can go inside. Then I made all these other images. Let me show you. So you can see all these images I colored the same. I may or may not can use them all, but I thought while I was doing it, I would go ahead and color them. Let's look at let's see how many we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to call these images. So we've got 5. That means about every other one we can put an image on. So like, for example, let's go to number 3. And I think it'll be cute if we put this little guy like he's coming out of the train car kind of sideways. Won't that be cute? So I'm going to put a little glue back here. And then I'm going to put this little guy It's a package with elf legs sticking out, by the way, if you can't tell what that is. And I just think that's adorable for right there. So we'll put him there. I know you can't see that yet, but I'll make sure you can see them all when we're done. And I'm just going to go around and add our little images to every other, or roughly every other train car. So you guys, that is my little train. I think it turned out super cute, and everyone can hold a treat inside. So as you count down the days, you can pull the treat out and enjoy whatever it may be. And it doesn't have to be candy. If you wanted this to be a random act of kindness train, just put little slips of paper in them with random acts of kindness. If you want it to be a scripture reading train, you could do little papers with scripture inside. You could make it be little presents. It could be anything. You could even use this for your pets. If you don't have grandchildren or children, you can make one of these and put a little treat inside and they could get a treat every day. But I encourage you to make one for yourself and give yourself a treat every day leading up to Christmas. Of course, it's a 12-day countdown and I think it is super, super cute. Now, I got to tell you guys, I'm speaking tomorrow to some kindergartners. I'm a nervous wreck, but they're doing like career day and they've invited me to come and tell them what I do. I think I'm going to take this to show them how we took a stamp set like this and turned it into this. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing for them to see, and I think it'll be a good visual. I hope you guys will try to make this. It's super fun, very easy to do, and honestly, you can do it in an afternoon. Just sit down, watch a movie, maybe two, and create your little train car countdown. Thanks so much for your ideas and your encouragement. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did making it. If you make it, I want to see it over on my customer gallery at MaymayMadeIt.com. Till next time, guys. Bye now.